And here is the key. Fenelon states, "Let us go on as God leads us from day to day, making good use of every moment without looking beyond it." End quote. Everybody talks about living in the moment, precisely because it is so crucial. It is so easy to look back and so easy to look ahead, but how often can we live in the moment, especially when things aren't going our way? This is where real contentment is found, in the immediacy of God's presence as it is manifested in the midst of our circumstances. Fenelon knows his own heart, and so he knows ours also. He knows the difference between real spiritual food and mere stimulation with a spiritual flavor. He states, "Sometimes an exciting book, a fervent meditation, or a striking conversation would gratify your taste and make you feel satisfied and full of yourself, would persuade you that you were far advanced, and while giving you fine thoughts about crosses, would only render you more haughty and make you more sensitive to those crosses which you would find in your path on coming from your religious exercises." End quote. This is rather unnerving. I have had so many wonderful moments of reading, thinking, reflecting, and talking with others, so many moments that were filled with intelligent and enticing divine ideas. And Fenelon wants to take them away from me? Even worse, he wants to accuse me of indulging in them just because I am full of myself. Still, when we look at make-believe crosses or trials as mere spectators, seeking only to console ourselves with our own imagined piety, then we become that much more averse to the real trials that arrive through authentic Christian obedience and discipleship. Fenelon now sums everything up. Keep then to this simple rule: seek nothing dissipating, but bear in peace all that God sends you against your will to disturb you. End quote. Now, dissipation refers both to decadence and the squandering of resources. We are to avoid the lifestyle of pleasure-seeking, but instead are to patiently and peacefully accept all things that don't go our way. But he doesn't say that we are to bear all the disturbances that God allows, but all the disturbances that God sends. If we just see the difficulties in our lives as the work of the enemy or accidents that we have to contend with, we may miss the point. We need to see God's providential hand in giving us opportunities to grow. Since we know intrusions are bound to come, we need to expect them and even welcome them. We can therefore pray in faith, "Bless what I knowingly have planned, and even more, bless what you have planned without my knowing." Fenelon wants to convince us to find God here and now in the midst of the annoying and even exasperating realities of day-to-day life, rather than in the distant possibility of the fulfillment of some super spiritual goal. Fenelon declares, "What a delusion! We seek God afar off in projects perhaps altogether unattainable, and we do not consider that we possess Him now in the midst of confusion, by the exercise of simple faith, provided we bear humbly and bravely the annoyances which come from others and our own imperfections." End quote. It is authentic faith, humility, and courage that give us the wherewithal to live the abundant life, not just in regard to the shortcomings of others, but now in full realization of our own brokenness. Our delusion must be wrecked. We must see clearly the way of Christ, and therefore the way of the cross which is set before us. But the night of the cross is followed by the dawn of the resurrection, and in this we have real hope. We can deal with the annoyances, difficulties, and disturbances of life because the Holy Spirit dwells within us. And because of God's empowering presence, we can live in forgiveness and in hospitality towards each other. We can have real life together where daily communal existence goes well beyond Sunday mornings. We love others freely, but maintain biblical sexual standards. We preach a gospel which is not just offering a ticket to heaven, but inviting people into a common life in partnership with the Lord of the universe, who is restoring all creation. We call others into the mission of Jesus, where the hungry are fed, the sick are healed, greedy oppressors are challenged, racism is opposed, the earth is cared for, and swords are beaten into plowshares. Christ will indeed return and make all things new. Time for the question of the day. How do we move beyond only complaining about annoyances and trials, but rather see them as God's activity? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Dennis Metzler, and you've been listening to The Charge. You can check out a couple of compilations of the works of Fenelon by clicking the links below. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace.